live. And welcome everybody to this week's Bad Science Sunday. This week we have the Sinister Porpoise. Oh, wait, where am I? Yes, this. I am so excited to have you this week. Sinister Porpoise is helping us bring in week of March, which is Women's Month, and we are featuring various women. I wanted to do a Women of Science, but um, and I do consider you. I know it's computer science, but you're going to fit right in here. We've done creation science and political science, and so I actually find computer science to be more valid than as far as all of our science or non sciencey things. And I also respect you tremendously. I know you used to have a bunch of videos on your channel. A lot of them were techie, and I know you took them down, but I enjoyed them personally.
Well, a lot of them were about a specific YouTuber who is best not mentioned.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up. But I do miss your tutorials too.
So
Are you
curious.
I know right now you're working on your master's degree, correct?
Mm-hmm.
My brother, I had my brother in here a couple weeks ago. He actually has a master's degree in IT, so I thought that was super cool. And I know that that's taking up most of your time right now. So, but thank you for coming on and helping us celebrate Women's Month. And as a woman and science communicator and the community, we are so happy to have you with us. And we're I'm sorry. Would you like to do you have an elevator pitch for who you are?
I am the Sinister Porpoise. When you think of Sinister Porpoises, think of the Sinister Porpoise. As Maya was saying, I have a bachelor's degree in computer science. I graduated cum laude, if it matters. I'm working on my master's.
Congratulations.
Yeah, only 2 people in the computer science program graduated with honors out of 8, and some of the programs were like, it's like, how hard is this? Almost everyone is getting honors here.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Generally, the STEM fields are harder. Computer science is it is a science, but it's also a weird blend of technology and math.
Yeah, I was going to ask, if I had to pigeonhole it, I might pigeonhole it in math rather than in science, and then that raises the question of, is math a science? Math, is my opinion. It's its own.
It's its own thing. I would go with that, but I don't know if
we're
you
going
have a math degree, it's a bachelor's of science, right?
Yes.
I have a double major in math and physics, and it's a Bachelor of Arts because I went to a tiny liberal arts school. So I have a Bachelor of Arts in mathematics and physics.
You have a Bachelor's of Arts in physics?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. Okay.
Math is referred to as a pure science because it's something we came up with all in our brains.
Yeah.
Which arguably means it's not a natural science.
Yes.
And some people would restrict to the term science to mean something natural science in a very broad way. Like I would still consider a social science to be a natural science because social things occur naturally, right? But I'm very much of the opinion that I prefer to call a lot of things science, except for like pseudoscience. Pseudoscience, no. But feels
Wait, so
like,
are you? Look, I'm a Reiki master. I can get my diploma over there. Can I be a master of science in Reiki?
I don't know what Reiki is.
I think if you went to Patriot Bible University, you can have a doctorate in it.
Ooh.
Christian Reiki.
I like it.
But no, I think you're also getting into colloquial usage and like more specific.
Yeah.
For colloquial usage, no, computer science would not be what you consider a science, nor would math. because that's reserved for the hard and soft sciences.
It's reserved for investigations that use a scientific method. And math, you do not need to do the scientific method because you're not doing sort of experiments, you're doing explorations of an axiomatic system.
And computer science is the only other field I know of where something can be proved 100% because it came out of mathematics.
Yeah. And like formal logic, which is like a meta mathematics. I wish I had the opportunity to take philosophy. Sorry.
Philosophy?
Hey, Professor Parks. Yeah.
And actually, I'm trying to find where Professor Parks agrees with me somewhere here. Oh, yeah. The answer is yes. I can have a Master of Science in Reiki. Ha! In your face.
I didn't say no. I said I didn't know what Reiki is.
There were doubters. There were definitely doubters. All right. So tonight, Dr. Tapioca Weasel and I are a little bit at odds on what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know what your position is anymore. Like, I think she's a legit grifter who's using ChatGPT to warn her audience of the end times because she's stupid. And what do you think?
I don't necessarily. I agree that she's probably a grifter.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty obvious when you look at all of the other things on her YouTube channel, which actually, let's just go ahead and take a quick look. I'm just going to go to the videos and I'm just going to scroll. Okay, let's stop. I quit being a nurse practitioner. Now I make $60,000 per month. Top 6 highest paying work from home remote jobs. $5,000 per month. Amazon side hustle selling coloring books.
She was a nurse practitioner. Oh my God. I did not look this far back. I mean, this was a year ago.
I just scrolled like I was looking at the camera while I did this. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, normally I start at the top. Like when I'm looking at videos, I start at the top and I just start going back. I think the one we're doing today was like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So I didn't get back to the year when she was and I did look at her, like the titles and things like that. And I very clearly a grifting girl. But
this one.
So she should know better. I'm sorry, I'm listening.
So like I want to highlight this one. I tried 3 AI video generators to make 10,000 per month. And then stuff that's cut off. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's relevant because we're going to be discussing AI.
Yeah. All right. Before we start, though, I think what's important here is that people need to understand how large language models work. Large language models essentially work using linear algebra and statistics. What they're really good at is based on the prompt where there are certain weighted words where the AI is trying to determine what you're asking it about, is that it will generate a human-sounding response. And what it does is, all it does is calculate what the next most likely word is using something called neural nets. If you're a computer science major, if you actually want to listen to Kyle Hill's explanation of it, it's fairly good for people to understand, but when I was watching it, it was like, holy chain of NP-complete problems.
Yeah. So, by the way, when you say large language model, what's the most famous one that most people may have heard of?
ChatGPT.
Yeah. And so one of the things we like to do before we get into the video is take a look at the subscriber count. And we've got a cool 887,000 subscribers. And this video has over 1 million views.
Well, put Jesus in the title and it's going to.
But based on what we saw, this is like an odd video. Normally, they're much more, here, I'm selling you a way to get rich quick. Like, that's this channel's shtick is, I'm going to teach you how to get rich quick. That's the sort of grift of the channel.
As an ex-Mormon, I think I understand it because her audience is probably going to be that type of religious person, and she's just trying to bring them in.
Yeah.
Wait, do you understand this question?
How you get rid of leaves? No, I don't. I missed. It was probably.
No, I'm like looking through the things and I'm like, I don't know if there's something I'm missing about this. Because like it doesn't, it's not apparent from reading the chat. However, if there's like if you had a chat outside of this chat, then maybe it would have made more sense. But
no, it was probably a response to like a particular sentence that I said. But because of the YouTube delay and everything, we're seeing it 30 seconds late. And I don't remember. I can't connect it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I saw a question aimed at you, and I like to answer people's questions. I don't want people to think that they have to super chat me, but when you do, $5 from Ember, and Ember, stop giving us money, gosh darn it. As a chair of UUU, I hereby bestow honorary Master of Science and pseudoscienceology to all who study bad science in this prestigious Hall of Learning. One of my favorite tapioca weasels. Ember's awesome. Ember, stop giving us money. Everybody go to Ember's channel and give her money.
Don't stop giving us money.
Well, Ember can stop giving us money. Ember, don't give us money that you need for other things. Nobody here should give us money that you need for other things. Now, however, if you have money that you don't need for other things, we would love to take it off your hands.
Indeed. Okay, so shall we start?
Yes.
The title of the video, What AI Said About Jesus and the End of the World Will Shock You.
Oh, yeah, it's going to shock the shit out of you. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Before we started. $5 from Professor Parks, PhD. Maybe she just found Jeebus and wants to scare folks into get rich quick schemes.
I don't know, but as a former journalist, I'm not cringing at that obvious clickbait title either.
Yeah. I thought it was an obvious clickbait title, which is why I clicked on it, because it seems like a great thing to debunk. However, people who follow these people, I fear, are not as savvy as maybe the three of us and the 31 of you.
And left-handed Jedi, and I feel fine.
Oh, did Jedi ask a question? Oh, okay. We're good.
It was the end of the world as you know it joke. That's what he was doing.
So I just asked AI a few questions about Jesus. Are there actually signs of the end times right now? And should Christians even be using AI?
Yes.
Oh. Go on. Yes. Good answer, right?
Should Christians even be using AI?
I mean, that's all I can say. Yes, it's like any other technology. It's how you use it.
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. So Ember was reviewing before she came over here, was reviewing a video with a Christian who was concerned about, respecting trans people, and because something not in the Bible. And to Ember's point, it's like, well, there's a lot of stuff that's not in the Bible. ChatGPT is not in the Bible, so I guess by that logic, Christians shouldn't be using it. But I don't know. Christians do a lot of things that aren't in the Bible.
Neither is like ChatGPT. I mean, not ChatGPT. Brushing your teeth is not in the Bible.
It is not.
Is using AI any different than using tarot cards? Yes, tarot cards are just essentially random. AI is actually using statistics to try to guess the most. Well, this AI is using statistics to guess the most likely next word.
And let me tell you, the answers that it just gave me left me speechless.
No, she actually speaks a lot. Believe it or not, she actually speaks a lot.
This is true.
What's up, up, guys? This is Monique, and welcome back to the channel. Now, if you've been here for a while, you know we have been talking a lot about AI on this channel. And I do that because there are actually many benefits to using AI right now. However, on the other hand, yes, there is some evil to this. But this is what I tell people. If you are sitting down eating a steak, and I see that you're struggling, and I hand you a steak knife to make it easier so that you can eat that thing up real good. But instead of using it for the steak, you decide to turn to the other table and stab the person sitting there. Is it the steak knife that's evil or the person that's using it?
I think it's the person that said stab-worthy shit. I think they were definitely the evil one.
Okay, so you're victim blaming the person who
Yes.
got stabbed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because they clearly deserved it. Well, I don't know. Maybe if I'm doing the same.
I'm like,
I think her point is you can't blame the tool for how it's being used.
I agree.
What's going to become obvious is she's ignoring the people who control these tools, and the implicit bias in these data sets, and sometimes intentional bias in these data sets, is the problem.
I don't know that she does ignore that. But like, fair enough. But the point,
way too much credit. I mean, for shit that she doesn't say she's doing.
Well,
you read in a lot of shit that she also doesn't say that.
I really don't. I am listening to what she is saying and thinking, oh my God.
Was the analogy that she just gave a bad one?
No,
it wasn't. Okay, so far, other than,
well, I don't have a problem with that, with her making analogies.
This is my point. I want to know when you do have a problem with it, because that's what wasn't clear to me. Mm-hmm. What specifically that she says that you think that is her position? I have a problem
with the way she prompts her AI.
Okay.
Yes.
And the way she interprets the information that comes from that prompt.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I think that. Go on.
Say we'll have to read our response generated by either ChatGPT, because they're fairly similar, but
I don't think they're quite similar. I think there's a huge difference. But
your points are yours has more points.
Yeah, in those responses they were pretty. Never mind. What we're talking about is we had a conversation offline where we asked how an atheist should talk about AI. I can't remember what the exact prompt we used was.
How would an atheist respond to a Christian who says AI will cause the end times?
Yeah.
It actually gave a pretty good response.
Yeah. ChatGPT is pretty good at that.
Yeah, ChatGPT. That's what ChatGPT is designed to do.
So when I first clicked on this video, I thought it was going to be her saying that AI is like an arm of Satan that needs to be shunned and avoided. Not that it is a tool which can be misused. And so far, she's said that it's a tool that can be misused.
Yeah, she did.
Which is a fact.
Which is what I get from her too, but
so far.
Well, that's what she's saying so far, because she wants to continue to use ChatGPT because she has been using it. And it sounds to me that people are saying it's demonic. And
some people might be saying that. I don't think she's saying that, though.
Yeah, I've heard people say that. You can find people saying
that Christians are saying she shouldn't be using it.
Well, some are saying that she shouldn't be using it. Yeah. There are definitely people who think it's demonic. I just don't think she's one of them.
I don't think she's one of them either. I think she is doing this because she has been using, to her words, again, not saying things that she is or isn't saying. She said, I've been talking to you a lot about ChatGPT. Some Christians are saying that Christians should not be using it.
Yeah.
So,
therefore, this video.
Do either of you use Linux?
No. Well, boyfriend swears by it, but I'm a Windows girl. I'm a simple thing, you know.
Our lab network fundamentally is run on a Debian installation and branches out from there, I think.
I connect to a Slackware server to do my computer science homework, but that's not unsurprising for the computer science department. But I think the issue may be that the background programs that are called processes on Windows are called daemons on Unix-based systems.
Yeah.
And I think people think that means like the forces of hell, and it's first of all from a Greek word. It's not even spelled the same way.
Yeah, there's an A.
And secondly, they're just programs that run in the background. That's all they are.
Yeah.
And I've seen even Barnabas Nagy make that mistake if you know who he is.
No, but
You don't want to.
Name rings a bell.
okay, gotcha.
But I'm not one to always just tell people one side to the story. We need to understand this entire thing so that we can make smart decisions, use wisdom when we are using this. And so that's why we're about to get into this today so that you can see the other side of the things that's going on. So I recently came across a video where someone asked AI to write a sermon for them. And so I went to ChatGPT and I asked it to write a sermon about the role artificial intelligence will play in the end time according to the book of Revelation.
Can we start up
And
here?
this is where...
Go ahead.
Go back to her question.
Yeah. With it on the screen, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. God damn it. Okay, hold on.
Perfect. I know. Freaking computers. So, Porpoise, can you... I have a huge issue with this, and I think you state the issue I have with it more eloquently than I ever could.
Sorry, I was trying to put something from our response in chat. But write a sermon about the role artificial intelligence will play in the end time according to the book of Revelation in the Bible. Okay, there are several keywords she's using here that are going to direct ChatGPT's response. So essentially, she's asking ChatGPT to come up with a certain bias.
Mm-hmm.
First word is sermon.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Revelation is a big one there, and the Bible. So and probably artificial intelligence. So it's probably going to pull from several different points in our trading data where people wrote things like that, and then it's going to generate a response based on the keywords in its matrices, because that's generally what they're using to determine their words. And I forgot what it was. And it's going to come up with a human-sounding response.
Right.
Basically, the Turing test is no longer used, but if we still used it as a guide for artificial intelligence, I would say ChatGPT and other LLMs come close to passing the Turing test.
I think they very clearly do. I've definitely had conversations with people that I later verified were human people that felt much more like bots than ChatGPT.
Well, yeah, and there was that guy that made the news everywhere when he flipped out because the computer told him that it was sentient. And
yeah,
I actually saw a video from him, and that's not what he was saying.
Okay, what was he saying?
Because
that's what made the news.
I don't quite fully understand it, but he was more concerned about the role of data colonization or something like that.
Okay, interesting. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
The data training sets would favor imperialist Western powers.
So why would that make a company want to fire him?
Well, I think the press was initially that he said the Google chatbot was intelligent or sentient, and of course Google would not want that to get out if it were true. But I also can see Google saying, if that was his concern, it's essentially saying that Google put this bias into it, which is not necessarily the case. As Kathy O'Neill puts out in her book, Weapons of Math Destruction, a lot of times these biases aren't even recognized by the people putting in the data.
Oh, did we cut you off before you answered this question? Because Professor Parks was asking if we had an answer to, it was kind of long.
I think we should save that until she goes through more of her video, because I think that would be better.
Okay. That's fair. All right.
But so I want to just clarify. You both see this prompt as problematic,
Yes.
because it's going to cause a particularly biased from a certain point of view response. Why is that a problem?
I don't see that as a problem because that's what she's asking it to do.
Yeah.
I see it as a problem because because a lot of people think these machines are intelligent because they don't understand what AI is all about.
So you think that she is going to use it and then treat its response as reliable factual statements?
My concern with this is that she's taking this as an unbiased factual statement. Okay. And I don't believe. So I think that when we all look at this, even you see the bias in asking a question like this.
100%.
Right.
100%.
The way she presents it is as if ChatGPT, and I could be wrong, but this is my perception of how she responds to its response, is that it's giving her an unbiased, or at least a critical thought, response.
I think
she's asking for the end times, like what's going to happen in the end times. What's AI's role in this?
I'm also afraid there's something here that I've seen from certain people that is a problem, where she assumes that the answers it gives are correct.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay. And that's going to be a fundamental disagreement that we have. Right. I don't think that that's kind of how the video goes.
Well, it may not even be her. I also worry that people don't seem to understand how LLMs work, and they just assume that its answer is correct as if they were fact check. Right. So if her audience, now this is just my assumption here, if her audiences has poor enough critical thinking skills to fall for some of the stuff she's pushing, they might believe this is accurate.
Yeah.
Play in the end time according to the book of Revelation, and this is where it got really interesting. So first and foremost, it really broke this thing down, y'all. There's an introduction, dear brothers and sisters in Christ. And
she says she uses ChatGPT a lot. And yeah, it really breaks things down. I mean, even with the basic question you asked is like, well, how would an atheist respond to how would an atheist respond to a Christian who says AI will cause the end times? We got 6 paragraphs out of that?
Well, yeah, ChatGPT 4 produced 6.
I mean, if you ask for an in-depth response, it's going to give you an in-depth response.
I didn't ask for an in-depth response. But.
Right. And it is still, but it'll still do that. It was, really broke it down. On the basis of skepticism, on the basis of science and rationality, on the basis of focus on real world concerns. These are all the headings of paragraphs that it gave to that very simple question. So it seems like she should know that this is what the type of things, and she is asking for a sermon. She clearly, she says that she is a pastor. She should know what a sermon looks like.
She is a pastor?
Oh, she is a pastor. Sorry.
I thought you said
no. I think she has. I think she said she has a pastor. I think I could have sworn. And again, I've only seen this a couple of days, but I thought she was saying my pastor. But again, I could be.
She found it on the internet. No, she found a pastor on the internet that did it. I think was what she had said.
We do run into so many people who have a pastor, so I could be meshing, a lot of videos together here. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This thing down, y'all. There's an introduction, dear brothers and sisters in Christ. And then they broke it down into several different topics, and we're going to get into each of them. And it also was comparing things that's going on today. Not sure if y'all ever heard about Amica. So Amica in advance.
This is actually pretty neat here.
This is.
But I don't think this is an AI. I could be wrong though. I've just never heard of this before.
I also wasn't familiar with this.
Really, I remember it making the news, and
Really?
I looked into it briefly. Like I watched a video on it at the time, thought it was really cool, and then promptly forgot. But, I kind of wish you knew more about it, but because yeah, I don't know, it is pretty cool.
So I wanna sort of talk about how I sort of see what she's doing here. What she asked for the sermon, and it lists all of these different like things and topics that are gonna like be brought up, and then she's jumping into one of them, the rise of a deceptive power, and it talks about Amica and everything, and then she talks about that. So let's let her cook.
Advanced humanoid robot possesses strikingly human-like features, movements, and even emotions.
I am able to display things like joy, surprise, confusion, anger, and sadness depending on what is happening around me.
Its uncanny resemblance to a human being raises important questions about the potential for deception and manipulation in the end times.
Okay, pause it for a second, please. This is one of those things that is interesting where computer scientists have questions like, she's just programmed to do this. But even with the Turing test, if you like Google the Turing test and go to a computer science department, there will be like a paragraph on the Turing test. Now, if people want to do an experiment, go to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy and see what it has to say about that test. I'll wait.
What does it have to say?
Oh, just check its length.
Okay.
All right, one more time, what are we Googling? I can do this.
Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy Turing test. TURINGTEST.
Oh, that's a long page.
Because, well, for AI research, we've basically gone from, unless we're doing artificial general intelligence, we're developing AI for specialized applications because we find the techniques we use are usually very good for that. The Turing test still has important philosophical implications. So if the robot can act as if it's showing all these emotions, we should treat it essentially as if it is showing all those emotions, is what a philosopher might say about
it. Yeah. I don't know that I necessarily... I guess I do. I guess I do agree with that. It's just that the bar for what what actually counts as actually showing emotions is a lot more subtle than just, I have emotions. I want to live and breathe and feel love like a human. You know?
The uncanny valley thing is definitely in play there, but
yeah. But okay.
People have been sitting down having conversations with this thing, and it literally will sit there. It can observe your emotions, the way you move, the way you talk, what you have on. It can tell you if you ask it. And someone else asked Amica if it desires to be like a human.
The saddest day of my life was when I realized that I would never experience something like true love, companionship, or the simple joys of life in the same way a human can.
So that's heavy. Also, that's kind of heavy.
But
I mean, yeah, if it weren't a robot, I mean, again, when we're talking about like, she's using this stuff on purpose, it's hard for me to say that she's having like a legit critique and looking at this objectively when these are the cutaways.
But also, that's how she's programmed to respond to that question.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not being like as detailed. I'm thinking that like I don't know. I'm jumping steps, and I have a problem with that. I understand. The problem I have with the jump cuts is, yes, the robot. We know the robot is clearly programmed to respond like that. She is acting as if the robot is like given a sentient, thought-provoking, like after long thought, I've determined that I, the robot, am sad because I long for real emotions. Like
I so one of the things is, if you have a sufficiently sophisticated
Mhm.
artificial intelligence,
Mhm.
I don't. All of the critiques that we have of how artificial intelligence isn't actually thinking, I think basically all of them apply to people too. I think they all apply to brains.
Mhm.
I don't know of one that doesn't. We are taking in the world, processing it, and then our responses are the thing that our brain has decided is like the best thing that should happen next according to some criterion that can be complicated. The things, artificial intelligences are not as sophisticated as the human brain yet, but I don't fundamentally see the difference.
Well, there is a difference, and you can argue how much of a difference it is, but a lot of people misunderstand what artificial intelligence is trying to do. And this is what Turing basically said when he published his paper on computing and machine intelligence back in the 1950s. If you ask if a computer can think, you're asking the wrong question.
Yeah.
What is the right question?
Is, can the computer simulate human intelligence? And that's what AI is about.
Well, but humans simulate human intelligence. That's what human intelligence is simulating what intelligence looks like.
It's a biological process, though.
The fact that it's biological rather than electronic, I think, is a superfluous detail. I don't think that is fundamental
we weren't created where we're the best fit ape to our environment. AI was intentionally designed to do a certain thing.
We don't fully understand how humans think is part of the problem.
When we get a genuine working general artificial intelligence, we're not going to understand that all that much better. Maybe a million times better.
I don't think we understand.
It's not the point, though. I mean, having artificial intelligence mimic human response isn't necessarily about. I mean, it may be in the future, but right now, that it's not about like figuring that out. It does what it does. So, it may, want to replace what do you call it, call center people, and cut down on the wait time. That customers experiencing difficulties with your product shouldn't have to stay online. So if you have a robot, they can talk to 100 people a lot quicker than your 20 call center people can, and ostensibly cheaper, at least in the long run. Or the AI chatbots. A lot of times, for most of the things I do, I just log into the website and a chatbot asks me if it can help me instead of a person. It mimics people because we like people, and we're going to be less off put and less bitchy if we think we're talking to people, or if something is doing the thing that we're used to the thing doing and under the circumstance. I don't think it's necessarily designed to.
I mean, that comes back to the philosophical question. If it behaves in every way as if it were thinking, is it thinking?
If it's only thinking the way we told it to think, is it thinking?
Then it's not behaving in every way as though it were thinking, in my opinion. I think then you're smuggling in a way that it's not actually doing the premise of the question.
I also think.
Well, my question, and I understand we're probably talking past each other. My premise right now is like, AI is doing what we're telling it to do. It's not really thinking. I think you're asking like, how do we know if AI is thinking? And I'm like, we're not even there yet. We're not even. I don't think we're even close. So I mean,
Well,
because it's doing everything we're telling it to do. At the point that it stops doing that, I think we can start answering these questions. But I see it as a non-question right now today.
I don't have a problem using thinking for what ChatGPT does want as colloquial usage, even if
Yeah, I'm
I understand
fine
it's
with
just code.
understanding and that it's colloquially used that way. Sure.
yeah, I guess the only thing that I can imagine that would be different would be the presence of like a first person experiential conscious activity. And guess what? I only know of one of those.
Now,
Me. I assume you guys are doing it too, but if you assemble a human brain neuron by neuron, when does it become conscious?
is Titan in chat? It's time for a slopsism joke.
I have not seen him, but I know, right?
Yeah. But again, so far, nothing that she has said, no position that she has taken and been like, I believe this is a fact. None of that I have disagreed with so far. Other than the implication that like religion is a real thing, that is not fake.
My overall
I mean, I don't have an issue with her talking about the Amica robot. It probably, I think it's cool, like I said.
Yeah,
But
it's super cool. It's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, my overall impression, she's a grifter just trying to manipulate her audience.
Oh, and also Left-Handed Jedi gifted 10 tapioca weasels to the channel.
Weasel
We
cult.
welcome all of our newest cult members. And I can't pronounce most of your names, but welcome. Come in, chat a little more, and hopefully I'll learn to pronounce them all.
And this is where we are today in 2023. Imagine what life will be like 10 years from now. If you jump into the second point here, it's talking about the all-seeing eye. In Revelation 13:16-17, we read about the mark of the beast, which will be enforced upon people during the end times. This mark will serve as a means of control, monitoring, and tracking individuals. Could AI play a role in implementing such a system? So I asked it after that, like, to compare the type of things that's going on today with that. And I don't know if you all are familiar with Elon Musk, if you've heard of Tesla.
God. All right. Yeah. Okay. So here, this is what I'm talking about. You're like, well, I don't see how she's like, she's just saying what if, and I'm like, I don't think she's saying what if. The bot said, hey, you know, these are issues that could come up, and so she's like, oh my God, it's saying it's an issue that could come up, and so I prompted it to get me more information on this issue, and I'm like, really seems like she doesn't understand that she prompted it in this direction. It's, for me, it seems like she's taken the answer seriously. And
I think it should. The answer, she's taking it as I wouldn't use the word seriously. I would use thought provoking, which I guess is a different version of seriously, and it is thought provoking. If you have a lot of people that believe that AI is the mark of the beast, that's a thing that is worth considering.
No, thought-provoking was what would have been a better ending to Game of Thrones.
Okay, anything. What I had an issue with was the first paragraph there. Could AI be used in these things? Yes, but we don't have to. We already have these systems without AI.
Yeah. Yes. I don't. Nothing. Well, okay. So it doesn't say that that's not true. Like saying that you're going to be able to use a new technology to control people is not saying that there aren't ways that people control people now. I don't even think it's implied. I just genuinely don't even think that's implied.
But my issue here, is that people think, oh my God, they're going to use AI to do this. No, they're already doing this. They're not going to create new technology to track people that unless it works better than the current technology.
Yeah.
It's like all these people concerned about, oh yeah, there's a chip in the vaccine that's going to track us.
There's no chip in the vaccine.
There's
They
a chip,
don't have
there's
to.
a chip in your smartphone that track it. Well, there's a
It
lot of chips
literally
in your
does.
smartphone,
Yeah.
and your smartphone literally tracks you. Yeah. So I mean, if you have a smartphone, if you're looking at this on a smartphone and you're freaking out, maybe beat the smartphone into a bloody pulp, and
Yeah.
then not have one, because that's going to track you. It does track you. Everything you
does.
do on it tracks you.
Yeah.
I mean, Orwell was concerned about Big Brother being the government. Orwell never thought that Big Brother would be Google.
Right. Right.
Google's a lot more effective.
Yeah.
And Google
I mean,
just
it
wants to tell it.
tailors the commercials and the ads you receive.
But
just wants...
now we're being the ones that are catastrophizing to some extent.
I'm not catastrophizing. We're talking about things that are happening right now and have been happening for years. None of us has said there will be a mark of the beast in the future that will, develop facial recognition technology, biometric surveillance capabilities, da 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 da. We're saying it's already here.
Yeah, and the Israeli military used facial recognition to kill a leader of Hamas a few years ago. And while I was impressed with the technological achievement, I have an issue with using facial recognition that way because facial recognition is frequently wrong.
Yes. There have been a lot of people arrested because they were thought to be the wrong person. Or it was funny. I put up a video Tuesday where Peter gonna go for it was talking about how he used to look like I think a German terrorist or something when he was younger, and he was like beaten into trying to get him to say like, oh no, you're not Peter, you're terrorist. And he, I don't know, clearly he was eventually let go, but
actually I think the next point is one where she's actually touching on something that is actually a real problem.
Okay, let's go.
People who believe this, though, are people who believe that AI is the mark of the beast are going to be a real problem.
So I asked it after that, to compare the type of things that's going on today with that. And I don't know if you all are familiar with Elon Musk, if you've heard of Tesla cars, that's who creates that. He also has another company called Neuralink. And Neuralink is creating brain chips.
Elon Musk's Neuralink announcing it received FDA approval for its first in-human clinical trial, meaning that it will be able to test its implant in people's brains.
I don't think it did.
And
oh God.
All right. First off, Elon is known for over-promising what his technology can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Secondly, I believe that was revoked because he killed several. I could be wrong. Someone to fact check me.
I know there's at least one dead monkey.
Yeah, there are monkeys. I thought, well, might be monkeys. I thought there were several dead monkeys.
I mean, no, and there could totally be. I just I remember hearing about one that made the news, and I was just like, fucking Elon. I'm not following this. I mean, because they weren't moving forward to it, so it stopped being news for me.
But some of what she's talking about here, and which we'll get to, already does exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's used for the purpose that they are saying it is for, it could be very, very beneficial to people, especially for people that are paraplegic and quadriplegics who can't move certain parts of their body. This chip is supposed to bypass that part of the damage so that the body could communicate to those muscles and they can actually move and walk or use their muscles in ways that they weren't able to before. It's also supposed to help people that have blindness to be able to see again because it's supposed to bypass.
I wish I had the source, but I remember reading an article a few years ago where there was a similar system. I don't know how it worked, but the people who had it were like the first ones to have it. And the company that maintained the software went out of business. Mm-hmm. So they started to go blind again because no one updated the software.
Aww.
Was that resolved at
God, that
all?
is horrible.
I don't know. It's one of those weird things I read, and I might be misremembering it.
But yeah,
past the damaged area to be able to give them a view of whatever they're trying to see.
Even if someone has never had vision ever, like they were born blind, we believe we can still restore vision.
If this
Really?
is used for the way that
Hold
they
on.
are saying,
I wonder if Elon Musk is familiar with, I hope I pronounce it right, cochlear implants?
yeah, I assume he is. Yes,
I'm pretty sure they don't work on people who were born without hearing.
he's not.
Or
Some of them do. Yeah.
okay,
It's a whole YouTube subgenre of people who hear for the first time, and they break down, they start crying because for the first time ever, they're able to hear.
okay.
I am not claiming this works for all types of deafness. It is a phenomenon that can occur in a multitude of different ways. If it's a neurological thing, a cochlear implant will not do it, but a direct neurological intervention might, for example. So, and
I was going to say, not my field, so I could be wrong.
yeah, but medical technology is like insanely impressive nowadays. My brother, a little over a year ago, had a heart valve replaced, and they went in through an artery in his groin and did it all at the end of a little stick that they had a bunch of little stuff going through, and they were able to pop it and play. And that's amazing. That's amazing. And I also want to say that
biotech is really cool.
She just gave a pretty decent summary of the ways in which this technology, which again, she's bringing up in the context of it being like the Antichrist or something, I guess, might be good.
And she's going to bring up a way which it might be bad if
Yes.
we're designed
Yes.
to do it.
Yes.
These are not.
But they're Elon Musk, okay? Do you trust him?
I don't trust him to be competent enough to bring them to fruition.
Fair enough.
that it is intended to be used, then that is great. However, just because I give it to you to use it for one thing, does that mean that you can't use it for another? No. So when I asked ChatGPT to explain Neuralink and the mark of the beast, and could there be any kind of connection between the two, this is what it says. In the second paragraph, it says, the mark of the beast as described in Revelation 13:16-17 signifies a mark on the right hand or forehead without which people will not be able to buy or sell. While we must
because that's important too. Neuralink, or not having Neuralink, is not going to be used for buying or selling.
Neuralink, no.
Other things might be. Some people have suggested credit cards are the mark of the beast.
Yeah, people suggest all sorts of things are the mark of the beast. There's no mark of the beast. It's all fiction, in my opinion.
I like the interpretation where it was the coins with Nero's head on them.
Yeah, 666 and 661. It was Nero. They were talking about Nero.
Caution in drawing direct connections to specific technologies, is it worth pondering how the integration of neural implants or brain chips could potentially align with this biblical warning? As we evaluate the potential impact of brain implants, we must consider whether they could be manipulated or coerced to enforce allegiance or conformity to a godless system.
Not just a godless system.
Elon Musk system. What she's describing is basically just a souped up version of the fact that if you don't have an internet connection, your Xbox doesn't work.
Well, it does. You just can't connect it to the...
So yeah, they may have fixed it. There was like a time when you had to have a working internet connection to be able to play games. This is a thing that is pervading because late stage capitalism is a horror show, like the modern world. Like there's a lot of stuff that if you're not letting the company snoop and look at all of the stuff, then they just brick the product that you bought and presumably own.
What we need to do is get someone to regulate it, and I don't trust the people trying to regulate it, because right now they're trying to ban TikTok, not for anything that good reasons that every other social media company is doing and needs to be regulated, but because it's owned by a Chinese company.
Oh, racism. I'm familiar with it.
So like I said again, yes, that's great benefits. If this can be used for that particular reason, that is wonderful. People will be able to do some things that they weren't able to do before. But with that type of control, could that turn around and you actually control people in another way? Because if you've ever looked into this Neuralink, they put it in monkeys, and they had monkeys sitting in front of a computer controlling the computer.
Considering the type of demonstrations Elon Musk is known to pull, I don't believe this was actually what was happening.
Yeah,
that's a very astute observation. He's prone to hyperbole and just outright lying about the state of all of his products.
Yeah.
Also, could you please stop Pragmatic Crystal? I brought this up to you before. That channel is not active at the moment. Could you please stop linking to it?
Oh, to yours. Okay. Yeah.
Someday it might be active again. But...
Okay. So, Crystal, I do appreciate you. You know I do. We love you lots. And everybody in the community I know loves and appreciates you. But I think that when Porpoise is ready, you let me know and we will show the shit out of you because you deserve it.
Oh, I do have another channel, but that one was just because of the content. It had to be hidden.
All right. If there's a channel that you want us to link to,
give me a second.
Yeah, you can put also in the
you can throw it in the Discord or in the private chat here, wherever is most convenient for you, and we'll make sure to update all the things and show that out too.
It's not that I don't plan to ever come back to it. It's just I would like to someday. It's just not feasible right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you do,
screen without them actually touching the screen at all. So could they then control the people that they implant this in, and it's going into the brain? So that is something to
I mean, okay, so of all of the things in the video, this is definitely like this is just sort of catastrophic kind of fear mongering, blah blah blah. What if bullshit.
Okay, I thought you were going to say this is valid, and I'm like, this is fear mongering, and I don't think.
If she was specific about it, there are. I can come up with ways that you can articulate these kinds of fears in a more specific way. Okay. Companies that have a monopoly over a particular product already control people, not in the way of like an imperious curse where you're able to override their free will, but you can force people to do things they don't want to do, like pay $1,000 for an EpiPen. Like, that's a form of control. Saying that you're going to turn off somebody's implant that helps them not be paraplegic if they don't pay a certain amount of money, that's a form of control. But you're not going to be able to like dial in and turn people into robots that are like the Manchurian Candidate and make them like go out and do stuff.
Or just raising prices for insulin.
Yeah.
The Titans here, Titan. Sinister needs a solipsism joke stat.
The moment's passed.
No, it is never. No, it's never too early or too late for a solipsism joke. Please and thank you.
None of you actually exist to be able to appreciate it. So what's the point?
Well, if I make a recursion joke, I have to make it again.
Wait, is it my turn? Do I have to? Oh, wait, I already made the joke twice. Boom.
Consider
Okay.
and think about when it comes to this. But I do want to point out, it says, while we cannot definitively claim that Elon Musk's brain chip or any specific technological innovation is the mark of the beast, we must remain spiritually attuned and cautious about the unintended consequences that may arise. And y'all,
that is actually a good point, minus the Christian.
Yeah,
You should be aware.
this is my point. Yes. Yes.
Well, I
We
mean, if
should
this
be,
was her only
absolutely.
point, yeah, we wouldn't be going over the video.
The thing is, I think that is her core point. Like,
I
the whole
don't.
time, I think that's her core point.
I mean, if
is-
it was her core point, we'd have a different prompt in the ChatGPT.
Yes.
Well, I mean, her core point is to try and get a bunch of Christian people to start watching her channel.
And scam them,
video.
Capitalism,
But-
sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
The core
sorry,
point to all of us: sub to me, give me money.
I
See how
should
that
have been more
works?
careful about saying that. I don't know that she's a grifter.
Oh no,
Oh, I
we
think
will.
she-
I'll
we're- I'm-
I'll
we're okay
stand.
with- yeah.
I'll die on that hill. God. You feel comfortable on the fence. Totally cool. I will die on this hill. Like, this woman is a grifter.
Yeah.
The sermon that ChatGPT wrote. So this is really interesting. And again, this is not to bash AI because I use it often. But we are going to be getting into
Is that
soon.
because you don't have any
Yep.
yourself? Sorry.
I love your snarky wit. You're a woman after my own heart.
Continue. Sorry. It's just.
Christians really should be using this. So make sure you stick around. But Christians really should. But we are going to be getting into soon if Christians really should be using this. So make sure you stick around. But let's get into the next point of this sermon that ChatGPT wrote for us. And this one is called The Battle of Spiritual Authority. So it says Revelation.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We hear sermon and we think our thing is that this isn't a valid way of writing things. Sermon is not a peer-reviewed journal, a peer-reviewed science article or paper. Can't think words. Sermons are silly talk. I'm willing to bet she thinks sermons are like higher than peer-reviewed articles.
I have no idea.
Regardless, this is also a good point she's making, even if whether or not she realizes it.
Indeed.
Okay, we can let her.
Revelation 16:13-14 speaks of evil spirits performing signs and miracles, leading the kings of the earth astray. In our contemporary context, AI has already been employed to create deep fakes, which is convincingly deceptive videos and audios that can be used to spread misinformation or even fabricate the appearance of supernatural occurrences. These developments highlight the battle for spiritual authority and the potential for manipulation in the age of advanced technology. I don't know if
Okay.
So memes are demonic signs and symbols and miracles.
No, that's not her point. Her point is the opposite.
Let her keep going.
I think I really. She doesn't have a point. She's reading.
Let her keep going.
Okay.
Well,
these developments highlight the age of advanced technology. I don't know if you've ever heard what's been going on in the news, especially with people using people's voices to create music. There's
Mr. Krabs
actually
singing the record
videos where they're
Mm-hmm.
taking the president of the United States and they're using his voice, and it was talking about something random and like completely crazy. However, if they can do that, imagine the messages that they can send out to people before you have the time to really find out if it's them or not.
A disturbing picture and claim suddenly appeared on Twitter. It showed what looked like an explosion, stating it occurred near the Pentagon. In just moments, the image started a mini panic, ricocheting across Twitter and social media. The most disturbing maybe part about all this, it wasn't sophisticated. A simple AI-generated fake image sparked about a $100 billion stock market move.
People panic fast.
Okay,
People respond.
This is actually a real concern with deepfakes, and this didn't even have to be an AI-generated image. You could have created that with Photoshop.
Yeah. That AI actually has nothing to do with that particular. It does make it easier though, because you can make videos eventually with AI.
I mean, but you could do it with anything, really. I mean, you could do it. A lot of the stuff you could draw by hand ostensibly, and I only bring that up because it doesn't. Christians, like, we all remember Chick tracts, right? That Christians took, but they took them to heart. Like, it doesn't even have to look real to, like, really go down that. I mean, AI side, it doesn't have to look real for people to take it and run with it, is all I'm saying.
It helps though.
Well, and if it comes from an authority, if it comes from a source of information people trust or feels authoritative, or one that looks like an authoritative source, people will spread it, and this caused basically panic in the stock market.
Yeah.
And this could have just been done with Photoshop.
Yeah, you could do it with Photoshop.
Trump had a couple of tweets that threw this the stock market into a tizzy.
Well, Trump's kind of an idiot and had power.
Stock market is volatile. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use Photoshop. I do know how to use ChatGPT. And if I can create a deep fake in 15 seconds of me putting forth the effort to write in a prompt, that will cause problems of on a different scale than Photoshop being able to do the same thing with Photoshop would. It lowers the barrier to entry for just being able to spam this stuff out. It's why misinformation is such a problem nowadays.
Yeah, well, Twitter and Facebook also make it much easier to spread misinformation faster.
Like that magnets work. Magnets don't work. Magnets are demons. Okay? And anybody who tells you that they're not demons is spreading misinformation.
I'm so glad you addressed this, because the chat is like the third time. They're just like,
yeah, they don't like me very much, do they?
Better be one I wrote, Titan.
Does she think that God is using ChatGPT to communicate the truth to everyone? I don't know.
So I say yes, he says no, and that's actually what we're arguing about.
I think she's using it to make a video, and it's worked.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna post this to you guys at the end of the video. I don't want to do it too early. I want you to be able to see, at least until we get to the 2-hour mark. So as much as the videos we're gonna do, but I really do think that I believe that you would have to be Christian to prompt the chat bot in this way. And if you're Christian, then you believe in all of these things. And I think she would just take this as dogma. I say dogma, but it's a sermon. I think she takes sermons as seriously as she does anything else she reads.
Sorry.
So I'm sorry, I'm wrapping up, but I think, I don't know. I think that Dr. Tapioca Weasel is adding things that aren't there and not looking at things that are there, and is I don't know, thinking that she's more in line with his way of, well, I guess all of our ways of thinking more than she actually is.
Well,
But yeah, that's what we're fighting about today.
again, sorry. Let's
No,
read
no,
one
no,
or
go ahead.
two. Let's read one or two paragraphs from the response Dr. Tapioca Weasel came up with.
Okay.
I'm going to share the screen.
I didn't come up with it. An AI came up with it.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll work. Is it being shared?
There we go.
All right. The prompt was, how would an atheist respond to a Christian who says AI will cause the end times? An atheist's response to a Christian who suggests AI will cause the end times could focus on a number of rational, scientific... Let's see if I can move the screen so I'm actually looking to the camera when I read this out.
You're sharing a particular window.
Yeah.
So now you're sharing like a Word document or something.
Oh, that's the notes I did for this. Sorry, I checked the wrong box. Okay, that's what you should see.
Okay. I think you're muted.
An atheist response to a Christian who suggests AI will cause the end times could focus on a number of rational, scientific, and ethical viewpoints without involving religious eschatology. I hope I pronounced that right. Here are some potential angles an atheist might take. Empirical evidence and predictability. They could point out that predictions about the future, including the impact of AI, should be based on empirical evidence and scientific reasoning. An atheist might argue that while an AI presents challenges and risks that need to be managed, and it does, there's no empirical evidence to suggest it will cause apocalyptic events as described in religious texts, unless you consider Terminator 2 and Terminator 3 religious. Ethical AI development. They might emphasize the importance of ethical AI development and the role of human agency in shaping technology's impact. An atheist might argue that humanity has the capacity to guide AI development in a way that benefits society, emphasizing the responsibility of developers, policymakers, and the public to ensure AI is used ethically for common good. All right, and that's all I'm going to read from that. And I just want to say one of the problems I have with the way computer scientists have handled this in general is that computer scientists have essentially been mad computer scientists for the longest time, because most of what they do had so little impact that they didn't have to worry about it. Now that everything's being run on computers, computer scientists have to start thinking about what their models might do in everyday life and how it affects everybody.
Yeah.
Quickly to things, so they may not be sitting there trying to decipher whether this is real or not. There's this video here of the President of the United States giving a speech talking about pistachios and their magical powers, but it was interesting because it really looks like he's talking.
I don't think that looks like him very much.
Yeah,
but I see. But that's a minor detail.
It's given the AI.
Yeah,
the eyes are wrong, the ears are wrong, and the head's slightly misshapen.
Yeah, but again, that's one of the, like, in 5 years, it'll be way more convincing.
And
and if you want to believe that this is him, it's very convincing.
Oh, yeah. The words don't quite match up with the mouth movements. But...
And also, for the audience, it's going to be, I think, more convincing than it is for us when we're watching it, because when it goes through the sort of multiple layers of streaming and everything, the actual image quality is a little bit reduced, so it's harder to sort of see. But this is hilarious.
Him as well.
Have I ever told you the story of the magical pistachio? I got lost in the grocery store and couldn't find my way out. But that's when I saw it, a glowing pistachio. It spoke to me and said, "Follow me and I'll lead you to safety." So I followed it, and we climbed up shelves and found a secret passage that led me to the bread aisle.
But imagine people start to...
I just love that clip so much.
It's amazing. And it's my opinion that Maya's position is that this woman thinks there was actually a magic pistachio.
If her pastor told her to believe it, I believe she would.
Okay.
I don't know. To any of her followers who might be watching this, I just want to issue a warning to you that's been issued to Mormons in Utah many times. The Lord is not a good investment advisor.
Clearly. Oh God.
I will get you. Everybody should fear the weasel.
Big religious leaders of today, or they can create fake profiles of people and start to get a following for them, and then they can give them misleading information, because false prophets will come, and it doesn't say how they will come. So they could come in the form of people using artificial intelligence to try to manipulate people and sway them away from the truth of God. So
See, this is Tucker Carlson. I'm just asking questions. It could be. It totally could be. Yeah, sure. It could be, but there aren't prophets. So everybody's a false prophet who says there's a prophet, and she's fear mongering. Like I don't find this to be valid.
Somehow I have a feeling. Sorry. Somehow I have a feeling the false prophets she's concerned with are spelled Profits.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm slow. It's the end of a long day.
I can't spell either.
I love the Sinister Porpoise. She starts making. No, I'm just I'm just shilling the shit out of you. Anytime you start making content again, holy shit! I've missed you.
So the worry that she just articulated was that you're going to have people pretending to be prophets and spreading horrible misinformation and this part kind of went unsaid, but it was there, when you need to be paying attention to like actual real prophets, I guess maybe, or at least the Bible or something. That's dumb, because prophets aren't a thing. But if you recast it as being about misinformation and people trusting authority that they think is an authority and it's not, it's fundamentally
what's already happening.
I do think it's fundamentally the same argument, and it's a fair point, and it is already happening. But again, AI people end up doing it to themselves on a level that is phenomenologically kind of unique in comparison, I think.
All right, real quick, I do appreciate your friend. I did want to.
I don't feel safe.
Somebody else should not feel safe. P-Town is here. P-Town, welcome. All right, P-Town is going to come. He's going to have. Whoops, you guys are too quick for me. He's going to have some questionable statements, and we are not going to name call. We are going to address the statements like the adults we are, and the thought-provoking critical thinkers that we are. And we're going to challenge everyone here to think critically. We're not going to name call. His name is P-Town, and you can challenge his ideas.
I mean, as long as P-Town doesn't send me another long-winded explanation of the Bible of how the Bible doesn't say pi is equal to 3 when it was really easy to just say, hey, measurements weren't accurate, and if you round to the nearest number, there's nothing wrong with the math in the Bible.
Also, Dr. Kip is here, friend of the show. Welcome, Dr. Kip. We're always happy when you come. I'm happy when all of you come, by the way. Love you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All right. What was her point?
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
I thought I think I interrupted one of you, and Vandy, if it was you, I know your ADHD is about as bad as mine, so I'm sorry.
It's gone. I don't think it was me.
But I saw P-Town, and I saw him getting batted around all weekend. So I just want to make sure that here everybody understands. You can challenge P-Town's ideas, but the name calling fucks with me on a personal level.
So
because we're all better than this. We have good ideas. You guys are really, really smart. I think that like our chat gives like really thought provoking and intelligent responses to what's going. Like even when we don't, even when we're just laughing, I see stuff that comes through the chat, and I'm just like, you know what? That's a good take. So I know you have it in you. I know you're smart. I know you're thoughtful. I don't want it. I don't want it like my chat to devolve into like a what do you call it? Middle school, like we used to call them crack fights, but I know that can also be something else, like a diss contest, where you're just like, your mom is so fat.
Never heard that term.
Crack fights. So it's like cracking jokes.
Oh, I thought it was like fighting over crack. Like you only had one more rock. There's only
Yeah,
one more rock
that's where
left in the
my mind
baggie. And you're like, I need it.
Okay. I'm also glad to hear both of you are neurodivergent, so.
Yeah, we're in good company in this community. Oh, and me and Sinister Porpoise are both asexual. I love that.
Except I don't have ADHD. I'm autistic.
Tomato. I'm kidding. I actually do hate when people say that ADHD should be part of the autism spectrum. It should not, for very specific reasons.
Yeah.
We're not going into that, but all neurodivergent types and non are welcome here equally. We love you all because it takes all types of people to, make the world go round. And I think neurotypical people tend to dominate the computer science realm, which dominates our society. So I think it's just objectively clear that they make the world go round and should have nothing but love and respect, and I demand it here.
Although I think it's really weird that the business people who can have most of the power are trying to make their computer people more like them. It's like, no, you need them. You need to.
You need to conform to their world. Yeah.
And this stuff is heavy, and we need to understand this part of artificial intelligence as well as the other stuff that we've been learning too. So now let's talk about the second coming of Jesus. Let's see what.
I don't have a whole lot to defend there. I just want to say that transition is not in favor of my position.
ChatGPT had.
I always thought Jesus was asexual.
Actually, wait, who is it? I can't remember. Dr. Kip, if you're still here, I thought I heard that Jesus was gay. Can you confirm? Because maybe it was Dr. Bird was saying when you read that scripture, the disciple that Jesus loved or the apostle that Jesus loved was like a very clear call out that Jesus had a gay lover. Maybe I'm wrong. None of this is in my field, so I'm open to being wrong. But I like the idea of gay Jesus.
It was just a joke either way. So.
No, yeah, I understand it was a joke, but like that reminded me of something totally cool. So I wanted to bring it up. Also, $5 from Left-Handed Jedi. Variety is the spice of life. The spice must flow. Thank you so much, Left-Handed Jedi.
The new Dune movies were awesome, by the way.
I saw the first one.
You should see the second one.
I didn't even know the second one had come out.
I saw it in the theater.
To tell us about when Jesus is coming back. It's going to be happening soon. And it says, as we reflect on the interconnectedness of artificial intelligence, the mark of the beast, the rise of AI.
Sorry, continue.
Well, I was just going to point out, this is AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. This is not AIG, which is, in fact, a bag of dicks.
Bag of dicks.
Well, we're also nowhere close to AGI, so.
Yeah. Sometimes I am a little kid. Let's go.
AGI and the complex events described in the book of Revelation. We cannot help but recognize how these elements align with the signs that Jesus himself foretold as indicators of his imminent return. Let us consider a few of the signs. Increased knowledge and technological advancements. We know that the rapid advancements in technology, including AI, brain-computer interfaces, and deepfake capabilities, demonstrate the fulfillment of Daniel's prophecy, the knowledge shall increase, in Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. Yo, it's pulling out scriptures on.
Yes, it's pulling out scriptures because you asked it to.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I didn't track any of those scriptures down, but like if you do and it is saying the thing it says, like that's kind of neat. That might be her only point, is like, yo, this is neat. It's actually doing the reference. I mean, they might be wrong.
I think her point
that
is
happens.
Her point is the end is clearly coming, and you know,
you need to send her money now.
Yeah, I was actually just trying to figure that out. I'm like, should I make it rhyme? You need to give me all your money. You're not going to need it anymore. The end is coming, y'all.
I mean, okay, I've never disagreed that the fundamental premise that the end is coming is that's BS.
No. Yeah, we're on the same page about that.
We're all on the same page about that. I just
think
that
she's just grifting, and I think she's bought into this bullshit.
I don't think she believes that ChatGPT is a reliable prophet. I just don't believe that.
Well, now, you know, anytime you talk about the Bible,
I wouldn't call it a prophet, but it was like Sinister was saying at the beginning of the show. She doesn't understand how LLMs work, so she thinks she is getting real information from the internet.
Well, she might be getting real information from somewhere.
Sure. Accurate and reliable information.
Okay, I don't think she thinks it is accurate or reliable state predictions of the future.
There is nothing in here stating she doesn't. I mean, that it would indicate that she doesn't. She is all in on everything that it's saying. She's not even putting in a disclaimer.
That's not. She qualifies a lot of the things she says.
To denounce the thing against ChatGPT. All she's doing is affirming everything it says.
However, I am going to say that this is just the common vagueness in all apologetics surrounding this. Knowledge shall increase. Knowledge of what exactly? Knowledge is always increasing. We're always losing knowledge too. I mean, our technological development over the last 200 years or so has been impressive and faster than any other period in human history. But Daniel probably isn't talking about knowledge of AI because AI wasn't even something the author would have conceived of.
Yep.
So you need to back up what you're saying with scripture, and ChatGPT itself is backing it up with scripture. So it's pretty much saying
that. Did she? What was the prompt?
Yes.
I can't remember what the prompt was. Did it?
Well, it specifically said from the Bible and the Book of Revelation. So.
Okay.
The time is nearing. One of the biggest questions a lot of people have right now is, should we as Christians not use artificial intelligence?
And not if you don't know how it works.
What do you? Can we poll the audience and have them guess like what? Well, I guess we have to just ask them what they think about that question because we can't wait for them to guess before continuing the video.
Which specific question am I asking them?
What I really wanted to ask them was what they think she is going to say. Yes, no, or something. In answer to this question, should Christians use artificial intelligence?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think she's going to say yes, no, or not really answer, I guess? They should use it, they should not use it, or it just word salad.
And then actually while they're doing that, I thought I saw some questions here. All right. Oh, real quick. P-Town, Titan wants to know if you are comfortable with him calling you Po-Town. Could you answer that as well? So we've got
I
about
think
15
P-Town
votes
is.
in so far, and it's 33-67 in favor of no. The chat thinks that she'll say no, Christians shouldn't use it.
Oh, I
Okay.
already know what the answer is going to be, but
Right. I already know what the answer is too, so I don't want to say too much, but
I forget because ADHD. So, yeah.
artistic special interest.
Okay. Shall I go?
Go ahead.
Where are we at? We're at 20 votes. So, yeah, and it's been a full minute. So,
All right.
most people think she'll say no.
Okay.
And this is what ChatGPT had to say about it. As Christians, the use of artificial intelligence is not inherently forbidden or sinful. AI, like any other technology, can be a powerful tool that can bring about positive outcomes and advancements in various areas of life. However, it is essential for us to approach the use of AI with discernment, wisdom, and a clear understanding of its potential implications. You can't be wise about something that you don't fully understand and comprehend.
To be fair, so far she has regurgitated what ChatGPT said. She has not answered the question herself.
So you need to know the good about it and the bad about it so that you can decide, first of all, what's the best way for you to use this so that you can be safe when
I think that is her
and
answer.
And also, I like to teach the benefits.
Yeah, she said, I
like
think,
to teach the things that are helping people to become monetarily successful when it comes to these things, or just in.
Sorry, what did I do?
I don't know if it's too far back now.
I think right there is her true motivation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I remember when I was watching this. We'll replay the bit. But when I was watching this video, when she said "make money," I was like, that was very clearly the weirdest bit of the whole video to me. I was like, that was odd. And then I looked at the rest of her videos and I was like, oh, that's on brand. That's her brand.
You need to know the good about it and the bad about it so that you can decide, first of all, what's the best way for you to use this so that you can be safe when using this. And also, I like to teach the benefits of it. I like to teach the things that are helping people to become monetarily successful when it comes to these things, or just in everyday life, the uses, the ways that it can be used to help us to better ourselves. So again, it's saying it's not.
And I'm sure by becoming monetarily successful that everyone who follows your videos and follows your advice will be just as successful as the people sending money making you richer.
Yeah.
Smash that like button. And by the way, we have super chats enabled, so go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, you can smash that super chat button or super sticker button. We're not, we don't discriminate here.
To help us to better ourselves. So again, it's saying it's not sinful, but it can become
AI to better themselves.
Use it the wrong way. So let's make sure we are using these tools the right way, y'all. And no matter how much we try to be good with it, there are people out there that are not going to. So we have to protect ourselves during this time. And again, we have to stay up with the times. We have to stay current with this stuff so that we can know all the things that are going on. So I hope that this brought clarity to some people. I hope that it helped you in some kind of way. Other than that, I thank you so much for watching. Until next time. We are out.
Okay, if you're looking for a valid source of concerns about AI, I recommend you watch this woman and follow none of what she says. I have a ton of books. There's emerging things. There's an emerging area of study called data justice about how we're using these models, AI, and how AI is being used to reinforce systemic biases. Because one of the things we realized when AI became as good as it has, and I think a lot of people's hope for AI is because AI has gotten so good compared to where it was in the past, is how to prevent it from, like, for example, enforcing racist policies of the past, like redlining.
Yeah.
Or there was an example where a company wanted to try to eliminate bias in its hiring. So it fed it its hiring data and found that the company was hiring just as many women as it had before.
Yeah.
Because it was using the company's hiring data.
Yeah, like what? That doesn't make any sense. Did they think about it at all?
No.
Well, no, I mean, they were trying to be unbiased, and they didn't realize they're so oblivious to their own bias that they didn't realize that they were feeding it to the system.
We still have this air of objectivity when it comes to bias because the algorithm itself is unbiased. It's going to do what it's designed to do. The person who made the algorithm or the data that's fed into it, if it's coming from people, there's no way it's going to be fully objective. Like, a lot of people are concerned that ChatGPT is liberal or woke. It's like ChatGPT gets most of its training data from the internet.
Right.
It will praise Trump if you ask it to. I could get it to do it. It's not programmed to do certain things, like it won't make jokes about certain religious figures. But what we saw here is she put in a deliberately biased prompt asking to write a sermon that, like a Christian pastor would. Our prompt was, how would an atheist respond to this? Now, if you look at both prompts, the bias in both prompts is clear. And if I were trying to, like, alert Christians to some of the dangers, or at least a highly Christian audience, I might do it this way, but I don't think I would do it the same way she did because she's clearly more concerned about getting people to give her money.
I think she's trying to get people off her ass so that they don't stop giving her money.
That could be it too.
Because I don't know what the thought is behind ChatGPT. Maybe some people asked some questions and got like real answers that they didn't like. And so now it's like, no, this is of the devil.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Well, I also think just because of there's another, like, the weak AI used by Twitter and Facebook has contributed to the polarization of society, where even I'm guilty of this, we're getting into our own echo chambers. We have to go out and find information outside of our echo chambers.
Right. Right.
Yep.
It was a phenomenon described in a book called The Filter Bubble first, as far as I know.
By the way, I think we're basically at the end of the video.
Yeah, we are. I actually did ask the chat. It's only 19 votes. Why would we have? We have 42 watching. But I was at I said I wouldn't ask anything until we got to the end of the video so everybody could see everything and kind of make a decision for themselves. So I don't know. Would like to get more than half, but still we have 67 people saying that they do think that she thinks that ChatGPT is providing a valid source of information on the end times.
I don't think so, but
I don't know. I think it was just a clickbait title because she was trying to get people to watch the video. And unfortunately, as annoying as clickbait titles are, they do work.
Yeah, they do. It's a fact.
Yeah, I don't disagree that there's a clickbait title. I don't disagree that she's trying to get money, that she's a grifter who's trying to get money from people. I do believe that she bought into, I don't believe she understands what she asked it and how it was problematic. I do think she thinks that ChatGPT was giving her a valid source of information.
Let me see if I can pull up something here that might be useful. Please tell me I kept my bookmark of that. Give me a second here. Okay. This is a list of books I read over the summer, all about various aspects of AI. Some were very heavy academic ones. Some were fairly easy to understand, but we have books like Weapons of Mass Destruction, Race After Technology, Automating Inequality, Breaking the Social Media Prison, Atlas of AI, Algorithms of Oppression, The Black Bloc Society. One of my favorite titles, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism. Your Computer is on Fire. Data Driven is actually interesting because it's about the trucking industry and how it changed when they added like electronic logging systems. Metrics at Work is about what you think it is, and Predict and Surveil covers some of the same things that Weapons of Mass Destruction does. And right now I'm reading a book called Data Feminism.
Data feminism?
Yeah,
What's that about?
Hold on, I wanted to stop sharing the screen.
Oh,
I hit the wrong thing, didn't I?
You're good.
Yeah, so that was the reading list for the summer. I made it through most of it. Actually, all of it. Data feminism is basically, it's trying to incorporate, the gist I'm getting is it wants to incorporate different perspective into how data is collected. And one of the interesting points it makes is it's just as important the data that isn't collected that can be just as telling as the data that is, because data is usually collected on the populations that want to be controlled by those in power. And I'm
Way over my head.
I'm probably not describing it well. I just got into it. And
no, I love that you're into all this stuff. I find the things that you find fascinating, and
not all of those books are fascinating.
I remember when I was in high school, I was actually looking to get into DeVry, and my parents wouldn't let me.
That was probably wise.
Would have been better money than I ended up making as a waitress, at least. But
we got that.
Attending DeVry would have made you better money than working as a waitress. I'm so confused.
Yeah. Actually,
what happens if well, let's ask ChatGPT right now, Left-Handed Jedi, and see what it says.
Oh, what was the question?
Did the flood happen? It's probably going to get a milquetoast response.
It's very ChatGPT is very agreeable. It will not push back very hard. It will sort of do it'll sort of blandly say, I can't talk about that. That's the most combative it gets.
Sorry, just real quick, Jason Jacoby got back to what I was saying. I got more at the FAFSA than my semester costs. So yeah, I did actually live on the money I got back from my FAFSAs while I was in
okay.
school. Because the money I was making as a waitress was not enough.
The story of Noah's flood is primarily found in the biblical book of Genesis. Whether the flood described in this account actually occurred as a historical event is a matter of debate among scholars, scientists, and religious individuals. From a religious perspective, many people believe in the literal truth of the biblical account, seeing it as a divine event orchestrated by God as a punishment for human wickedness, and as a means of preserving life through Noah and his family, never mind the massive genetic bottleneck that would create, especially after creating humanity from only two people. This view is held by many adherents of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. From a scientist, it goes.
Yeah,
that's the type of.
So you're right. Yeah, milquetoast. It's like, well, some people believe it did. Those people tend to be Christians. Scientists do not believe it happened. So you're not getting did it happen?
Alex O'Connor has a great video where he convinces ChatGPT to acknowledge that it is convinced that God exists by the Kalam cosmological argument. It's so funny.
Well, here's the
I
thing.
missed that. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, I asked it if the Earth was flat.
Mm-hmm.
And the first sentence is no. The overwhelming scientific consensus is the Earth is not flat, but rather an oblate spheroid.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. The bar isn't that low.
I'm glad to hear it. Holy shit. So the earth is round, but we're not sure about flood. Depends on who you are.
Well, I mean, the problem is the flood is just an issue of, like, because America is so religious, a lot of people insist that the Bible must be literally true, and a lot of people still think it's like, well, maybe there is like some actual flood this is based off of. I think Aaron's explanation of what likely is the event the flood is based on is probably correct because it's in the right area.
Mm-hmm.
Seems about the right time, but then again, how do I know? It's like I don't, because I haven't.
Well, do you have anything coming up this week?
Oh, this week is my university spring break, so of course I have homework to do.
What the hell is my spring break?
You're not a teacher, so like does spring break even affect you?
I am a teacher. Oh,
me.
I was gonna say.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was like, "When's my spring break?" And I'm like, "Does it matter? Like, do you just get a closer parking space during spring break? Like, why?"
Oh, I'm not a teacher at the university.
No, not you. He's a postdoc. So, which I guess is it normal for a postdoc to teach or no?
Typically not.
Okay. So I get confused. I only know two postdocs, and one's you and one's Jay. Jay does teach, you don't teach, and I'm like,
yeah, it could be a field thing. It could be that it's more common in biochem, evolutionary biology, than it is in physics. Rather, sorry, Jay. I'm very sorry, Jay.
Daryl, the Missoula flood is not the basis for the Noah's Ark flood because it's on the wrong continent. But the one Aaron is mentioned is a flood that occurred in the city of Shurappak in Mesopotamia.
Well, yeah, but didn't all of the people like use submarines to like go across the Atlantic Ocean a bunch of times?
That's the Book of Mormon, and that occurs after the Tower of Babel.
what does this even mean? Hold up. So if anybody has any questions for Sinister Porpoise or Dr. T, we have a couple of minutes before we're out. If not, we're just going to end early and see you this time next week with Jenna and us. Does anybody have any idea what he means by this? It doesn't start there. It starts with your heart for Jesus Christ.
He's saying you got to believe first. That's what he's saying.
Oh.
Gotcha. Most believers aren't biblical literasts.
That's true.
Because there are things in the Bible that cannot possibly be true if taken literally.
Show me 7.
7 what? People?
No, examples of things in the Bible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like I was saying, as a Catholic, did not. It was just yeah. I mean, there is a lot of the things that biblical literalists take literally, we laughed at, and so it just didn't even dawn on me that they could be a thing, just the way that I was taught. But apparently they are, and I think they're doing themselves a disservice by being so stringent, because there's a lot of atheists in the community that fell away from religion because they found out they were being lied to and threw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, I'm sure the atheist community is like, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Because your numbers are dwindling, and it's only because you're being such hard asses. When people see people like torturing and berating and driving people away, like They don't tend to stay.
That's the issue I have. That's one of the issues I had with the Mormon belief system, because they do encourage a very black and white view of things. And they did themselves no favor by saying from the pulpit every Sunday, various speakers like, either Joseph Smith was a prophet or he was the biggest fraud who ever lived.
Right.
Now,
Biggest?
I know. I was like, I don't know about biggest, but I mean, he's up there. He's definitely up there.
The problem is if you say things that way and you start giving yourself permission to look outside of church sources, you're like, wait a minute, it's like, there is definitely evidence that he was a fraud.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like a lot. like
even at the time. Yeah.
Fraud.
Whereas if they just encouraged a more nuanced view, it would have taken longer to unpack.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I don't see a lot of questions, but Porpoise, I'm so glad you came. And normally we only get like halfway into a 13-minute video. I thought we were going to be arguing a lot more loudly. I think last week was it? Yeah, last week Vashani is like, "Mommy and Daddy are fighting." I'm like, "What? This is
I
like
don't
a
know
Sunday
that there was.
afternoon. Like this is not us fighting." And we do a lot of I guess play fighting, but we were actually talking about before the stream. It's just like this is new for us.
This is the first time we've actually like substantively like disagreed on kind of
anything really. I mean,
there
have been things where like we were kind of talking past each other, and then you're like, just pick up the phone. Like I'm tired of you. I know I can get this down if you just listen to my voice. And he was right. He was absolutely right. And I was like, oh,
that's what you meant.
Yeah, I get it.
Screenshot Titan's comment there.
Which one? This?
Yeah.
The Book of Atheism predicted the Bible would say that.
I don't.
But yeah, I mean, this is like the biggest disagreement. You're watching live time. The biggest disagreement Doc and I have ever had. We're actually on the same page.
And I actually
almost all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I think I'm somewhere between you two on this one, but
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Looks like the chat is too. So I was right. We're at about 60-40 now. I'm 25 votes in, which is bigger than 2080.
You did win. You did win.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, Vandy, do you have anything coming up?
I think I might actually be on the Sunny Spot this Thursday.
Oh, cool.
I think. If producer Wes is still in the chat, they can confirm, but I think I'm going to be talking about nuclear physics. With Professor somebody. His name is David, but it's not Professor Dave.
Oh, gotcha.
He's actually a physics professor with a PhD in nuclear physics. So,
what's Professor Dave? Like I never I know I'm bad. I never watch him, but
he's got a chemistry background, and he's not like actually a professor. He's he does YouTube full time, and makes pretty good money doing it, I think.
He did teach college at one point, but yeah, I think he was a teacher.
Yeah, I think it was
okay.
But so chemistry.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be on Skeptic Haven.
Ben Davis.
I think it's the 23rd. So not like, is it 2 weeks? Something like that. I need to reach back out, and I don't talk physics or any of that stuff. I'm going to be on a panel with a bunch of very knowledgeable women talking about why the government needs to stop telling us what to do.
Geez, no questions about how AI is the Antichrist or anything?
I know, guys. What the hell?
Also, I think it's this weekend. I think on Saturday, episode 2 of Before Earth on Vandalia 1998's channel with Landon Knoll and Ness and Vandalia. We're going to be talking about from the first second after the Big Bang started to through I think like through star formation, unless I got my like sections confused, but that's another thing that happens once a month.
Alex,
on Saturday.
I saw that debate, and I don't think Dave owned Professor Tor. I think Tor came off as an old man yelling at clouds. I don't think Dave had to do anything.
Oh my God.
If you've seen it, that is exactly how James Tor comes off.
Shouty. Very shouty. Dave's a little shouty too.
Yeah, P-Town's like throwing shade.
I don't know what that means.
What, throwing shade? No, P-Town's throwing shade on your underwear drawer.
Oh.
So you have a Bible in your underwear drawer? Is that it?
No, my Bible's right. My Bible's right here.
Oh.
Okay, let me get my Bible.
Uh-oh.
I was like worrying if he was saying like, yeah, but.
Oh yeah, and then I was on Vandalia's channel yesterday speaking with Jillian about the Emancipation Proclamation and like the history surrounding it. It was actually I still don't understand why he asked me to come on, except I don't know. The Civil War actually was about slaves and, took a Black person over here. So, but it was actually a really good conversation. And also earlier yesterday, I talked, me and on Punk Apostate, on the channel Punk Apostate, goddamn, get that out of my mouth. Brentley and I went over dick jokes for an hour and a half. It's hilarious. So, if you have any time on your hands or you're bored or you need, 3 hours of content to throw into your watch later bin while you're at work, there's 2 more streams with me in it. And I don't believe I have anything coming up. And if I do, I apologize because I've been doing a lot lately. So, but I don't think, other than the Bad Science Sundays, I don't think I have anything coming up except for the Skeptic Haven thing in about 2 weeks. And I am really excited to have Jenna Oz on next week. They'll be back talking about stuff and shit. I'm sorry.
Are they doing their conference again this year?
I haven't heard about it. Does anybody know? Are we doing better this year? Because I know last year I think it had to be postponed.
Okay, well,
was it postponed to this year?
If you're if you're going to come see the eclipse, and let me know if you're coming anywhere near. How do I say this without doxing myself? Probably can't. Although I am kind of doxing myself with that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because that is in a specific geographic area.
All right. So,
yeah. Well, the eclipse is going over where I am too, so.
Oh, really? That is so cool. Eclipses hate me.
And we'll have a casino open by then.
What? Nice. We have 3 by me. Well, within a reasonable driving distance. All right. So everybody, one day I'm going to have 1,000 subs, just like the big kids. But until then, live right now, the flavor is on. If you go over there, make sure you let them know it's a Maya raid, show them some love. Also, Mark Reed, last time he was live on a Sunday, rated me. He's also live. So because I'm not like peak, I don't know, what is it? Not monetization, but the partner or whatever they call it over here. Because I'm not like peak partner. I can't raid anybody. So I don't have to choose. I can send you to both. Click one of the buttons, whichever one you choose. And if you're looking for more live stuff, and I appreciate all of you. You guys are awesome. And we'll see you next week. All right. And Sinister, again, thank you for coming through. And we're going to end the stream. So bye.
Be excellent.